international officer for King's, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about King's, a bit about London because that's where we're based, and of course how to make an application for the university like King's. And my presentation should take maybe 20 to 25 minutes, and then we're going to have another half an hour for your questions. So yeah, just fire away. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, just type them in and I will answer them afterwards. So starting from some general information about King's, we are quite a large university. Our community has almost 34,000 students. Just like London, where we are based, we are a very international community. Almost half of our students comes from outside of UK. And we're also very diverse, with over 185 different countries sending students to us. Now, this is really important and really amazing because as a postgraduate student, you will be able to exchange your ideas and exchange and talk with students coming from different backgrounds, different religions, different upbringings with very different ideas and very different thoughts than your own, which means you're not only learning from your teachers, but you will also learn from your peers. And of course, apart from being able to mix with students from around the world, if you're a little bit homesick, King's can offer a bit of a home away from home as well. We've got almost 200 students that came to us from Turkey, and we have a Turkish society as well that you are very, very welcome to join. So you're going to have a bit of home, but you also will be able to mix with people from different countries. Throughout the years, we had some very famous alumni. I just wanted to give you a few examples of who you can become when you graduate from King's. So we had some Nobel Prize winners, for example, Professor Peter Higgs, who got a Nobel Prize in the physics department, or for example, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who is a Peace Nobel Prize winner. We had some Olympic medalists at King's as well. And this is just testament to how much we support our students with their extracurriculum activities. So Dina Asher-Smith was an athlete, for example, and she won, I believe, a silver medal in the Rio Olympics. And of course, scientists, King's is very big when it comes to research, which is very important, particularly for postgraduate students. And there was some groundbreaking research that happened at King's over the years. And for example, Professor Rosalind Franklin pioneered the discovery of DNA. The reasons why you might want to come to King's. First, it's our history and legacy. We are fourth oldest university in UK after Oxford, Cambridge, and UCL. I already mentioned some of our famous alumni who you will be, or which community you will be joining if you graduate from King's. Research, again, very important for postgraduate students. We are one of the world's leading research universities. So I've already mentioned a discovery of DNA, but also research that led to discovery of the mobile phones radar and the radio wave, for example. That research happened at King's. And I think most importantly, the research that you will find at King's today is the sort of research that will shape the world of tomorrow. We are a Russell Group University, which is a group of universities in UK that are a top research-based university. And of course, a big selling point is our location. We have 5 campuses in London, and I'm going to talk you through where those campuses are. So at number 1, this is our Strand campus. So this is home to our Faculty of Law, our brand new Faculty of Engineering, but also anything to do with arts and humanities or politics and social sciences will also be based at number 1. Just across the road at number 2, it's our business school. And this is a very exciting location. The business school is based in the building that used to be BBC World News. So if you think of Winston Churchill, that's where he did his speeches, famous speeches during the Second World War. And now it's where our business students get to work. So think anything like HR, marketing, anything to do with finance, with accounting, with business, this is where you're going to be based. Now, if you cross the bridge and walk for about 10 minutes, you will get to number 10. This is our Waterloo campus, which is based beautifully just a few minutes away from London Eye. And this is for students who are thinking about computer science, physics, or chemistry, or nursing. Now, if you turn right and you walk for maybe another 10 minutes, you will get to number 13 and 15, which is St. Thomas Hospital, part of St. Thomas campus. This is one of our medical campuses. So some of our postgraduate medical programs are partially based on that campus. And this campus is based, again, it's a fantastic location. It's just across the water from the landmark that probably all of you recognize, which is Big Ben and Houses of Parliament. Now, if you turn around and you walk south for another half an hour, you're going to get to Guy's Hospital and Guy's campus. And Guy's Hospital is a very famous teaching hospital in London, and this is our other medical campus. So stuff like anything to do with postgraduate biochemistry, biomedical engineering, biomedical sciences, all of those programs will be based there. We have one more campus, which is the Institute of Psychology, Psychiatry, and Neuroscience. This is the only campus that is not in central London. It's around half an hour by train from central London. And you can see the picture of that campus in the corner of the slide. But I will also show you later on the map. When I talk about accommodation, I will show you on the map where this campus is based, excuse me, in the relation to London. So this is the pictures of our campuses, and you can see how amazing the campuses are. But the point I want to make on this slide is when you're on our campuses, it really feels like a campus. You know, where you need a student card to get in. You have like a little areas in the middle of the campuses where you can relax. You've got different student union venues. You've got cafes, restaurants, or eateries on our campuses. But at the same time, you are in the middle of London. And this is particularly important for postgraduate students because you are very connected to the industries. You don't just learn something away from the city, disconnecting from what's going on within the industry. You're right in the middle of the city. A lot of our professors would be working for very prestigious organizations, so they have a first-hand information to come and share with you. So it is really important that although you very much feel like you're on the campus, you're also very connected to the city and very contemporary and very present within the industries that you're looking to work for. Some of the benefits of being in London. Firstly, you will be able to meet some very prominent visitors. You can see Queen Elizabeth II. We have a number of royal family members and ex-royal family members that had visited our campuses in the past. We had very famous politicians. For example, Hillary Clinton came to talk about women in the workplace earlier on this year. But I think the most important point is that there's a number of industry specialists and industry leaders, and they are either based in London or they come to London on a regular basis and visit our campuses. We also partnered with some renowned institutions on a number of our degrees. For example, some of the history degrees, you get to work with British Museum, which you can see on this picture. Students get to work and handle the artifacts that are based in the museum. We also work with, for example, European Space Agency and Royal Air Force. Our students help developing conditioning programs for pilots and astronauts. And many, many others. So I would urge you to come and have a look on our website because on a number of our degrees, there are very exciting partnerships. We also linked with institutes and professional bodies. And the example I wanted to use here are the Royal Courts of Justice, which you can see on the picture. They're about 10 minutes walk from our law school. So again, when it comes to prestige, our location is probably the most prestigious out of all law schools in UK. But we also work with, for example, global, Royal Association of Engineering, or for example, British Heart Foundation. So again, depending on the program you want to study, you can take advantage of the links that we have around the city. And aside from the professional opportunities and aside from the academic opportunities, London is a fantastic student city. It's been voted best student city for, I believe, this year, 3rd year in a row. And there's so many reasons for it. This is the city that never sleeps and that offers so much to people that come and visit it or come to live in it. So whether you already have a hobby that you want to carry on with when you come to Kings, or perhaps there's something completely new, this is your time to shine, and this is your time to come and explore and try new things. And the help that we offer with that, it's our student union. A student union is run by students and for students, and it allows you to get involved with stuff that really means something to you. So that could be, for example, playing sport, it could be playing instrument, it could be a cause, for example, the Eco Society or the Amnesty International Society. It could be something to do with your future career, for example, investment banking or debating society. And we offer many, many more. Photography society, knitting society. We've got foodies society for students who like to go and try different cuisines. So more on a social level. So it's very easy to find students that share your passion and make the most of being in London together. So moving on to studying at King's, we are a generalist university, which means we offer degrees in 5 main areas of studies, and these are STEM, health, politics and social sciences, law management and business, and arts and humanities. And each of those areas will offer you a number of different degrees. And something to notice is, because we are a generalist university, a lot of our teaching is interdisciplinary, which means we either combine different areas of studies within one degree, or we spread this degree across different areas. And this is mainly visible in the selection of optional modules. So if you're interested in a degree, go to our website and have a look at optional modules we offer, because you are going to see just how interdisciplinary those programs are. So our students are specialists in one area, but they also all-rounders when they graduate, which increases your employment opportunity. And also, if you have several students finishing with KCL with the same degree, because of the number of optional modules we offer, all of those students could have a slightly different profile. So that really allows you to shape your degree according to your career needs and according to your interests. Some examples of where our students find themselves now they graduated. This is the example of careers that our students are enjoying, or our alumni are enjoying now. And some of them will be very obvious, for example, accountant or a doctor, but some of them could be very interesting. So for example, political consultant. It could be for a government, it could be for one of the big consultancies like KPMG, could be for a big oil and gas company. So it really depends whether you want to make money, whether you want to change the world, whether you want to go into policies. There is just so many different opportunities for you to explore in all of those areas. And few have already mentioned how important research is at King's, and there is a lot of research that's going on. Of course, as a postgraduate student, this is also going to be a big part of your time at King's, because your dissertation program accounts for about a third of your degree. So I just wanted to give you a few examples of how contemporary and moving on with time our research is. And of course, something that is on everybody's mind at the moment is the pandemic and COVID-19. So there's a lot of research that we're doing within this area. And I just wanted to show you how this pandemic or COVID-19 research is spread around different faculties. So of course, medical faculty will have a lot of COVID-related research. And we're very proud to tell you that our School of Biomedical Engineering, together with University of Oxford, created a device called OxyVent. And this device was designed to fulfill the shortages of COVID-19 ventilators that we experienced in UK earlier on this year to treat COVID-19 patients. So definitely an idea that helped saving some lives. But for example, our international relations department has done the research, and they're looking into populism or the correlation between populism and pandemic. So they're looking at the reasons why the populist leaders, for example, Bolsonaro in Brazil or Trump in America, struggled to contain virus within their countries. Our digital humanities department is looking on the effects of COVID-19 on the digital behavior now, and also what impact that could make in the future on our social and professional interactions. And our School of Education and Communication is looking on the role of pandemic language in linguistics. So they're looking at the new vocabulary that has entered, and also slang that has entered our language permanently due to pandemic. And they're also looking on the effects on public or the use of the professional medical terms by everyday media and how that is affecting the general public. Another reason why you might want to come to us is the state-of-art facilities that we offer at King's. And I just wanted to present you with some examples that I find are really exciting. So as I'm sure you know, we are very famous for our medical programs, and we have a state-of-art labs. So for example, London Metropolitan Police is using our laboratories as their crime labs, and some of our professors are the real-life CSI, and they work on improving forensic methods and help to solve criminal cases. Some of our researchers are also part of the Olympic Anti-Doping Committee, and our labs analyze both domestic and international athletes. If you study anything to do with physics or astrophysics, we've got rooftop observatory and telescope. I know the finance and business studies are extremely popular in Turkey, and we've got lots for business students. So we've got, for example, Bloomberg terminals that students can use, and we also have a virtual training floor for our students to practice. If you're thinking of studying anything that is medically related, we have dissecting rooms and virtual dissection tables. You can see a picture of the virtual dissection table that we have at King's in the middle of this slide. But also we're one of the 4 universities in UK that use real human bodies from body donors in our dissecting rooms, which is really invaluable resource for our medically related degree students. And for students who are interested in psychology and neuroscience, we've got state-of-the-art scan facilities. And you can see the picture on the bottom of the page, the green and black picture. It's a picture of brain cell that's taken by one of our scans. And of course, apart from being on the campus, we use the world around us to learn as well. So some of our degrees offer field trips, and that's some of our humanities, geography, history, for example, offer field trips, some of them in UK, some of them abroad, for example, to USA or Morocco. Our law school have created something called King's Legal Clinic. This is in association with PwC, and it's aimed at improving a legal system. And that's where our law students get to work under the supervision of trained PwC lawyers, providing free legal advice to people who cannot seek a paid counsel. And we also have a number of partnerships which are already mentioned. And Shakespeare Globe, for example, we work really close with Shakespeare Globe. So some of our arts degrees, students get to work and observe the operations, behind the scene operations. And Tate Modern, this is a really interesting partnership as well, because students think Tate Modern, they think gallery, it's probably just for art students, but it's actually not. They've got a very interesting exhibitions that other students or students from other degrees can take advantage of as well. So most recently, for example, before lockdown, of course, but most recently, our political economy students have joined Tate Modern for workshop just for our students that focused on an exhibition that was all about life in UK during and post the Second World War. So how London can help you with facilitating your career and what sort of opportunities London and King's can offer you in that department. Firstly, London is a very unique city. So if you think of, for example, USA, you've got the Silicon Valley with technology, you've got New York with finance and fashion, you've got, for example, the Washington with politics. In London, all of those industries are based in one city, which offers opportunities and opens up opportunities that might not be available anywhere else in the world. We also support students not just with their career search, but also with the soft skills development that the employers might look for. So stuff like leadership, for example, communication. Our students can attend workshops to improve those. London is also a global hub. So if you make a list of 10 companies you would like to work for, if they're international companies, you are most likely to find most, if not all of them, in London. And also, if an organization, international organization, has head offices in Europe, they're most likely to be based in London as well. So again, this is a city that offers so many different opportunities across different areas. Our careers and employability team is extremely active. So we have countless workshops and career fairs. And when I say countless, just last month we had over 60 career fairs. Of course, now they're happening online, but normally we have them on campus. And this is an opportunity for our students to meet representatives from the organizations they want to work for. You can find tips for interviews. You can find what they're looking for future employers. You can start building those connections. Or if you're not sure what you want to do or where you want to work, you can always come to different events and find out more about the organizations around us. We also have the Careers Hub. And this is very important for our international students because this is a career guidance that is available 24/7. And it's obviously available to students no matter where they are geographically. So even if you do decide to work somewhere else than London, or if you go back to Turkey, we will still offer you career guidance and that will still be available to you. And if we have students who have their business ideas, we have an entrepreneurship institute. And this institute could help turning your ideas into an actual business. Other opportunities that you can get involved with that could help you with your careers, it's the sort of opportunities on our campuses. So that could be whether it's holding certain roles within societies or clubs, whether it's a part-time work that you can take as part of our King's offering, or also academic opportunities. All of those could lead to some soft skills that are very transferable and very desirable by pretty much all of organizations out there. So we're talking about budget management, leadership, time management. So if you are coming to King's straight from your graduate universities, these sort of opportunities will allow you to go into future interviews and give your future employers examples of where you showed a good time management, for example, or examples of where you provided a good customer service. And also we offer opportunities to volunteer. King's stands for making the world a better place, and as cliche as that may sound, we do take that very seriously. So a few examples of that would be King's Sierra Leone partnership that works to improve the healthcare in Sierra Leone, and as part of that, our medicine or global health and social medicine students get to travel to Freetown in Sierra Leone and support that initiative. King's Sanctuary Program focuses on global issue of forced displacement, which, you know, with Turkey's geographical location, this is an issue that is very close to home for you guys. And for example, our students get to travel to places like Lebanon, Calais in France, or Bangladesh. And for example, our dental students provide free dental healthcare to refugee children. And you can see on the bottom picture, it's one of our dental students on the trip to Bangladesh. Hot Chocolate Society, this is a lot closer home, and this focuses on the problem of homelessness in London, and their actions include food distribution on, for example, the outreach sessions. And just a few more points on careers and employability. Our Careers Connect and the online guidance, this is open to our students for 2 years after graduation. So we don't just leave you to your own devices the moment you graduate King's. We do support you with career guidance and support for up to 2 years after you leave us. We are in top 20 most targeted in universities in UK, and we are 4th when it comes to employability, which means almost all of our students move on to either further studies or employment right after graduation. So how do you apply to King's? All of our applications have to be done directly on our website. Now, what we're going to need from you is transcript. If your transcript is in Turkish, we will also need translation of the transcript. I have that here that we need 2 references. We have updated this recently, so a lot of our degrees only need 1 reference now. Normally, this reference has to be academic, so it's got to be from one of your professors from your current university. If you graduated over 5 years ago and you have a lot of professional experience, then that reference could also be professional. We will need a personal statement as well, so we will need to know why you want to study this particular degree and why you want to study at King's. And these 3 things will be needed, so transcript, reference, and personal statements. This will be needed for all of our degrees across the board. Now, some of our degrees will also have a special requirements. So, for example, some of our arts and politics degrees might ask you for a writing sample. Our TESOL and languages degrees might ask you to complete a test. So there could be some degree-specific requirements as well. So always check the website for those. Anything that is medically related, we will need you to have a clinical experience. If you're moving to a medically related postgrad studies, we typically would need you to have between 1 to 3 years, depending on the degree, between 1 to 3 years of working in that actual area. And when it comes to applying, we open our applications in October. This year it was towards the end of October, and our deadline is 31st of March. So make sure you apply before the end of deadline. And normally our admissions takes about 6 weeks to process your application. It can be longer, so I can't promise they will always come within 6 weeks, but this is the average. And one thing I'm going to say, the earlier you apply, the shorter time will the admissions take to assess your application. So the entry requirements are stated in the English sort of educational level, but you can easily go to the global qualification and have a look as to how does that translate to the degree that you have. And we also need personal statements. So a few things we need from your personal statements. We need your motivation. So we need to know why you want to study this particular subject. And we want to know why you want to study at King's. Now, when you talk about why you want to study at King's, we don't want to hear like, oh, because it's the best university in UK, or it's because it's ranked, third in the world for so-and-so. We don't want to hear that. We want something more in-depth. So we want to know, for example, if there is a particular research at our university that connects to the research you want to do, or if there's a particular academic at King's that inspired you, or for example, our module selection. So dig deeper and think deeper, behind our brand and behind our rankings, think of what is King's as a university offering you that is different from other universities. We need to know about your academic interests and achievements, and also your professional ones as well. So talk to us about those skills and about those qualities that you possess, that you can demonstrate to us with some examples on why you would be the best person for that particular degree. If you have done anything outside of sort of professionals and academia that makes you who you are, so for example, achievements in sports, achievement in music, community work, we still want to know about it, but you will have about 10 to 25% of your statements to talk to us about it as well. So if you think there's anything else that makes you who you are, and it's important for us to know that, you can still include that, but just make sure you don't go over 25% when you talk about the non-academic related stuff. So I'm just going to touch on PhD application because the process is slightly different. Before you apply, you should check our research portal, and you should find a supervisor, or you should find a researcher who you think will be a good supervisor for your work. You should contact them and ask them if they could supervise your work, and if they can, only then you should apply through our website and let us know already who is going to be your supervisor. When it comes to PhD applications, we are a bit more flexible with the application opening. We've got 4 points of the year that you can apply, and that's every 3 months, so January, April, June, and September. In terms of the accommodation, we have 2 different types of accommodation. So we have King's residences, which are for King's students only, but we also have University of London halls. Now these are shared between University of London institutions. So you might have a neighbor from LSE or UCL or Queen's Mary. For King's residences, we have 2 halls, which are for postgrad students only. And this is the Orchard, Lyell, and Iris Brook. And when you're thinking of prices, you're looking at anything between 150 to 410 pounds a week. And this, of course, depends on the facilities, on how, what type of accommodation you go for, and also the location. And that's where our campuses are based. So you can see the 3 red dots on the north of the river. This is the Strand campus. So this is the social sciences, law, engineering, and also the business school. Right across the river, you have the Waterloo campus. On both sides of Waterloo, you have St. Thomas and Guy's. These are the 2 medical campuses. And then you have the Denmark Hill. This is the Institute of Psychology, Psychiatry, and Neuroscience. Now, all of the blue dots south of the river, and the 2 blue dots that are a bit lonely on the north of the river, so Angel Lane and Urbanes, this is all King's residences. Now, the cluster of blue dots just north of Strand campus, just by Regent's Park, all of those, these are the University of London halls. So these are the ones that are shared. In terms of student support, we offer a lot of student support to our students. As you can have a look at the student services online. They will help you with your, they will help you from the moment you apply. You can reach to us for information about housing and accommodation. We've got a visa advice for our international students as well, so you can use that service. From the moment you come to King's, we will help you with enrollment, with settling your life in London and adjusting to your new life in London. Each of our students will also have assigned personal tutor. This will be the person who will look after you while you're studying, and they will be your first point of contact if you need to talk about anything. And we also have counseling that is free and available to all of our students. So a few more things, or a couple more things I wanted to tell you, and this is for you to get in touch with university and stay in touch with university now when you think of making an application. So Unibuddy, it's an online chat feature, and it allows you to connect with current students and members of staff. So you can find students that is from Turkey, or you can find students that is studying what you're thinking of studying. And you can ask them any questions you want about coming to King's, about personal statement, application process, and so on. And if you're lucky enough, you can find an academic who works in the department you are applying for. And again, you can connect with them and ask them any questions you might have about the degree. And this is a page especially interesting for the international students. You can find out what's it like to be living in London. You can find out more about the clubs and societies that are on offer, and you can explore the careers and employability pages as well to see what sort of careers events and what sort of career support that we offering. And when it comes to sort of social life and everyday life, we've got an interesting Instagram page, Life at King's. A lot of our current students are posting information. There are live sessions there as well, and there could be Q&A about applying. It could be Q&A with current students. It could be a social sort of events at King's. So just kind of give you a taste of what it's really like to be at King's. Okay, so this is all from me, and I will now see if there are any questions. So I'm just gonna open the questions chat.
Yes, there is a question from Irem. She's asking about the Department of Shakespeare Studies. Okay. If they request any special documents to apply.
To be honest, I'm not exactly sure if they are. I think they might require you to have a writing sample, but the best way to have a look, if you have a look on the website under application, just keep scrolling down, and under the entry requirements, there's like a little section for any special documents, and it will be specified there if they do need something. I think they need a writing sample, but double check because it all will be stated there. And I know sometimes it's easy to miss that box, but it's literally if you go under entry requirement, you just keep scrolling down and application details, I think it's called, and you can have a look there.
Okay, Irem, we will try to assist you if there is any special documents for Shakespeare Studies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the ATEC consultants are fantastic, and they're very familiar with our applications as well. So if you guys have any questions about the extra documents, and these guys know exactly where to find them, so they will make sure that you have everything you need.
Ihsan is a student who has scholarship, I think, governmental scholarship, and study in international law and terrorism. If there is any subject related to that program.
If there's, I don't, like, we definitely have, when it comes to postgraduate law studies, we do have quite a wide selection. I don't know exactly if there is anything with terrorism, but we have, like, I think when you look at our LLM, our Master in Law, we have 9 different pathways. I don't remember on top of my head what all 9 different pathways are, but if you have a look on our website, you can explore what the 9 pathways are and what the modules are on offer within those. We do have a workshop on Masters in Law, and I will share the link with Alper so he can post it to this chat, because for some reason I can't open the chat. But I will share a link to that. It's this is a workshop with one of our human rights lawyer, and she's talking. So it's not terrorism per se, but she's talking about issues like human trafficking and policies that she personally worked on to help with modern slavery and human trafficking and stuff like that. So perhaps joining that webinar and asking some questions would be quite helpful. And if you allow me a moment, I will have a look at and share the link with Albert.
We have a student from Jordan studying masters in behavioral finance in Turkey, and he wants to do a master's in psychology at King's. Yeah, it is possible if Ahmet, your bachelor's degree is in psychology, you can do it in the UK.
What are they studying now?
He is doing behavioral finance in Turkey, doing masters.
Okay, our masters, generally speaking, they're quite flexible. So I'd say that we would have to, like, our admissions team would have to look into the content of your current degree, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. But you would have to, yeah, they would have to have a look at the content of the degree that you're studying now.
How about online LLM degrees? Melis Abacıoğlu is asking. I think she is interested in online LLM programs.
Yeah, we do have online. We do have few online degrees, and there's one law degree that is available online. To be honest, I don't know too much about the online programs, apart from the fact that they offer a lot more flexibility to our students than the face-to-face program. So they designed for students who cannot travel and join us in person, may that be for personal reasons or career reasons. So they're more flexible when it comes to studying, in terms of the times that you have to study, and also obviously you don't have to travel. So they offer a lot more flexibility, and I know we have like one load related online program. So have a look on the website. It's all stated there basically.
What about the scholarship opportunities in graduate study programs?
Okay, so we have I'm really sorry for keep using the tissue, but it's a cold month in London, which unfortunately affecting me a little bit. So I do apologize about that. When it comes to scholarship opportunities, we have more scholarships for the postgraduate students and undergraduate students, but we still don't have that many of them. Typically, if you're looking, yeah, we have some basically. They do change from a year to year. We have a page called fees and funding, and on that page we have a list of everything we offer per year. So you can always go and have a look at that. If you're applying for 2021, you can start looking from now what we have on offer. If you're applying for 2022 or later, you can look now to get a general idea. But bear in mind that next year some of them might not be there, and we might have something else. So we offer some scholarship opportunities, but that depends on the degree. And to be completely honest, King's unfortunately isn't huge when it comes to scholarships.
What about the assistantship?
So if it comes like as an assistant in teaching.
Yes.
So those opportunities are mainly open to PhD students. So PhD students do get the teaching fellowship opportunities. So they can, for example, they get to teach like some of the modules on like an undergraduate programs. For master students, there isn't that many opportunities in that department. Students can seek other opportunities like around the campus, for example, being a student ambassador or digital ambassador, but I don't think there are that many opportunities for master students to teach.
Do you have any ideas regarding to PhD in physiotherapy?
Is there a specific question?
No, it is just she's asking information about PhD in physiotherapy.
Okay, if anything that is in that area, so dietetics, physiotherapy, King's is a really good place to study because we have 4 hospitals as part of our campuses. So you do work with some of the top clinicians in the country. So it's really exciting because you do learn from the best. And we also have facilities for you to get involved. So you're very much involved in the clinical experience, and you work with the best clinicians. So I think that's the top things about those studies, and also the fact that we have hospitals in the campus. So like you do get some clinical experience as well. So you come out with it being all round ready to start your career or to enhance your career, having learned from the top people in the industry. I don't know if that answered the question or if there's any specific follow-up question.
Can you please repeat how to make or how to start application for PhD program?
Yes. So I'm just going to come back. Let me just go back to the slide that I had on that. Just bear with me for 1 second. For PhD students, firstly, you need to go onto our research portal. And on that portal, you can look at what research we have going on at university at the moment. And if you find a research that is within the same area that you want to study, you go into that research, and there you can see which academics are responsible for that particular research. Then you can find through that portal, you can find more information about particular academics. So you can find their biography, the research they're interested in, and you can find the best person to supervise your work. And once you do that, get in touch with them. So reach out to them and say, hey, I'm a prospective PhD student from Turkey. This is my, this is the idea that I have for my PhD research. I think it matches really well with the areas that you're researching in. Would you be interested in supervising my work? Now, once they respond to you and they give you a positive response, that's when you go to our application portal, and then that's when you apply. And when you apply, you can already tell the admission team saying, I've already been in touch with Professor so-and-so, and they have agreed to supervise my work. So it's sort of backdoor way to apply, and it's a lot quicker and it's a lot easier because you have already found a supervisor for your work yourself. Does that make sense? Sorry.
Yeah. They first need to search for the academic.
Yes, so use that apply at kcl.ac.uk, and then you can literally every single research that is conducted at King's is listed there, so you can really just have a look at the right academics for you.
Burcu's question is with 3.9 GPA, is it possible to get a scholarship for MBA or executive MBA? She also have 8 years work experience.
So we don't actually offer MBA. So that's we don't offer MBA. We don't offer executive MBA either. We offer international. I believe it's international management. We offer a PhD, and I'm just going to have a look at the entry requirement for that. Yes, you are looking at 3.25 out of 4. This is the GPA that we need for the management, for the master management program, so we don't offer MBAs.
Do you have scholarship for 3.9 GPA?
We don't have any scholarship. As far as I'm aware, we don't have any scholarships in a business school. So like we can have a look, but I don't think, as far as I'm aware, we don't offer any scholarships within the business school.
Yeah. Ezgi has a question, but she wants to ask directly.
Yes, of course.
Ezgi, you can unmute yourself, please.
Hi, thank you for the presentation first. I actually have 2 questions. One is regarding person. So I studied in the University of Amsterdam, and I am residency. And basically in the Netherlands, I have asked several times for recommendation for my teachers, but since we have like a big group lectures, they don't really know us, so they never actually provide recommendations or any kind of letters. So would it be a big problem not providing a recommendation letter, or providing a letter from a teaching assistant, or I don't know, a tutor?
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be a professor. So, if you have, for example, because you still have to do your dissertation or your research projects as a part of your undergraduate, undergraduate degree, or, if you have like a small teaching classes that are taught by, by a teaching assistant, then that's absolutely fine. It doesn't have to be, a professor or like the head of department or whatever. It's got to be an academic from that university that knows you, that taught you in a small group setting or supervise your work. So it doesn't have to be, a person that's got very high position. It's got to be an academic from your university that knows you quite well.
Okay, thank you. That's perfect. And my second question is basically, when we apply for a scholarship, do we apply directly throughout the King's College, or do we apply separately? In a sense that doesn't really affect our application. So without actually getting the scholarship, can we get into King's College actually?
Yeah, so the scholarships and university application are completely different. So you make your application with, with our admissions team. If you want to apply for the scholarship, you go to fees and funding page. All of the scholarships are listed there, and different scholarships will have different requirements and will have different way of applying and will require different things from you. So each scholarship will have an explanation on how to apply and what you have to provide and by when. So it really depends on the scholarship, but each of them will have an explanation on how to go about applying. But it's always going to be completely separate from your application. So typically you have to apply for university first, and then when you get an offer, that's when you're applying for your scholarship, not the other way around. For the ones that really
Okay, thank you. And one last question. Since I'm still a student at the university, my grades are still basically going up. So when I apply for the university, it wouldn't be complete. So is it going to be conditional entrance, or would it be?
Yeah, so you can, if you're still studying, you can apply with like your predicted GPA, and you will get a conditional offer, and the conditional offer will state that, as long as you provide us with your actual diploma, by the certain deadline, which is usually summertime, because that's when students get their diplomas. That's when, if you meet the entry conditions of your offer, your place will become unconditional. So yeah, by all means, obviously a lot of students apply before they actually graduated, so that's not a problem at all.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a nice evening.
You're very welcome. Thank you for attending. And Semra is also asking if she can or he can unmute themselves. Yes, by all means.
Yes. Cemre, please unmute yourself. Shukri is also asking requirements for engineering masters. Do you have any specific?
I think it's 3.0 out of 4, but double check on the website. I think it's 3.0 out of 4, but I'm almost sure, but have a look on the website.
Hello.
Hi there.
How are you, firstly?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine too. I have a question about PhD. So when I contacted the teacher for doing a PhD with him or her, should he or she can provide a scholarship for me?
I mean, for yeah, no, I know what you mean. So for PhDs, you can always ask them, because they might be aware of, because sometimes we get funding for research that comes from, like, I don't know, European Union, although obviously that's not going to happen for that much longer, like certain companies. So they might be aware of some research money. So it never hurts to ask them questions. So you can always when you contact them, you can always ask a question if they're aware of any funding that is available or would be available for that research. They might say they're not aware of anything, and they might say they might. So it's always worth for you to ask them, and also check the fees and funding pages, because there is a section for PhD students there as well, or for research degrees. But I'd always ask the academic too, because they might be aware of something that's the central university is not aware of.
Okay, thank you so much.
Related to that question, when they ask a request to the teacher, can they also ask for assistantship, or they can do it after they get acceptance?
Yeah, so they wouldn't as far as I'm aware, they wouldn't be able to apply for the assistantship when they're applying for university. So normally that happens afterwards. But then again, this is definitely the question that they can ask straight away, because some departments, are in more need of PhD students helping than others. So by all means, when they contact their PhD supervisor, they can straight away ask questions. If there are many opportunities for assistantship open within that department, and how likely it is for them to be able to secure one. That's definitely the sort of question they could ask when they get in touch with them. I doubt they will be able to secure it when they before they apply, but they would at least get the general idea of how likely it is to be able to secure it once they start their studies.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I hope I read all the questions so far. guys, if I missed anything, please don't hesitate to ask.
I'm just going to add as well, I sent a couple of links. Basically, there is we've got for the law students, I think it's on the 9th of this month, we've got one of our human rights lawyers doing a session that's called Modern Slavery and the Role of the Law, Stories from the Frontline. This session is done twice, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So either one session, it will be potentially good for you guys. So if you're thinking of studying law, this professor is teaching on the LLM program. So she will have a lot of information on the human rights pathway, but she will also have general information about other pathways. So if you are thinking of LLM and of different modules and different options we offer, I would recommend you to join, even if not for the whole webinar, at least for the second half for the Q&A.
Yeah. His question was international law with terror and terrorism. I think it's possible. He needs to check the modules.
Yeah. Just have a look at the modules, because we do offer quite a variety of different modules within that department.
Okay, Paulina. Thank you very much for this.